We started creating donations for the food bank from our church about 15 years ago. Wow. And then I've probably been involved for 7 or 8 years. I like doing practical things, and I thought, that's something that I can really do to help. So, I was more than happy to do that. We rally the troops, and Fiona, of course, she has links with the Scouts, and so she, at the beginning of lockdown, she was in touch with the Scouts about collecting food from people's houses who were shielding or whatever, and bringing it down to our church. We've put 2 big boxes in the foyer of our church, and they're labelled, so it's all very obvious, and also there's access any time. I mean, obviously the congregation bring donations in, and I usually suggest about once or twice a year what's the best sort of thing that they're wanting. Especially at harvest, they tell me what they'd like. What Sue and I do is alternate weeks. We pick up all the donations that are in the foyer at our church, and then we take them along to the Salvation Army. Non-perishables, they don't really want pasta because, or they can do with a little bit, but not a huge amount because some of the people who are taking donations, it takes a lot of electricity or gas to cook pasta, so pasta is not so popular, but certainly meals in a tin, tea, coffee, sugar, and pot noodles, that sort of thing that are very easy to prepare. I mean, it's been fantastic. People have been so generous, unbelievably generous. It must have increased, 5-fold, I should think, the donations, if not 10-fold. The main impact of the increase for us was Fiona with the Scouts. For whatever reason, it was a fantastic response. The councillor for the local borough also put out a plea to say there was a desperate need. I think people think, what can I do? Because in lockdown people are suffering more, or a lot of people are, and others think, what can I do that will help?
We've been here 4 years, and it's been going on many years before then. It's usually been running in conjunction with our drop-in on a Wednesday afternoon, so people can come in and have a light meal, or they can come for the food parcels, or they come for both. And usually we have between 25 and 40 people here on a Wednesday afternoon. That was pre-COVID, and they'd have that time, about an hour and a half, where we could sit with them, or they have something to eat, or just, as I say, come in and out for the food parcel with a food voucher for that time. Schools primarily at harvest. The university supports us at the end of the summer term and usually Christmas term. But again, with lockdown, that's all changed again this time. And then lots of individuals come. Some people just show up at the door with a couple of bags of things. Other people come specifically with milk and tins. One person comes every other week with about 20 great big bags of rice. So people just drop by, or they phone up. So schools, supermarkets, community, sheer community do quite a bit for us that way. But primarily supermarket donations and church donations. It's basically anything at the moment. We sort of cover everything from young babies right up to the elderly. So baby food, nappies, baby wipes, in that sort of aspect. And then it's food across the board, not food that's perishable because we can't really store it. And then we're sort of giving it out. It's not so easy. If it's the normal food bank and the drop-in, that's no problem because we can just give out the fresh food then. But it's not so easy when we're just dealing with primarily agencies at the moment with the lockdown. We're trying to discourage people directly from coming to us, although we do the odd food parcel for people. Since lockdown, we've been dealing directly with agencies, because they are networking their people better than we are. But that has changed in that it's not just the hostels that we're supporting now. We're helping about 4 schools locally. We help the probation. We're helping the council's Meals on Wheels that they're doing. We here at Guildford are also our Salvation Army divisional hub, so we have people as far away as Dunstable, Maidenhead, Luton, Slough, Hemel Hempstead, and sort of everything else in between. But on top of the food donations that come in, we are struggling, and there are places like Aldi's that are very, very good at allowing us to bulk buy, providing I leave a couple of tins on the shelves for customers. They have been incredibly good and let us bulk buy. I spent £150 odd at Aldi's last Friday just trying to top up, and that's already gone out. We had a Just Giving page which we set up right at the beginning of lockdown, and people have been incredibly generous. Individuals, churches and companies as well have been very, very generous, and we've had grants from other places too. We've just set up a new Just Giving page, primarily with Christmas in mind, where we are looking at getting food vouchers where people can go and buy their own special Christmas food, or perhaps on top of their normal Christmas food, and also vouchers for presents for children. So we're getting, again, Aldi's have been really good to us. We're getting vouchers for people to shop at Aldi's locally, and for children under 10, the Entertainer, and for children over 10, they're getting Argos vouchers. Pre-COVID, for the drop-in food bank, we were doing about 30 food parcels, 25 to 35 food parcels a week. We've worked out that we're putting out enough food for 250 people a week at the moment. The first few weeks were really hard because where people were being very restricted in what they could buy in the supermarket, and because they were bulk buying for themselves, there was very little going into the food donation boxes in the supermarket. So we were spending £200-300 a week to try and top up to buy enough food. We had the money, but we still couldn't buy because we were being restricted the same as the public were being restricted on how they could buy. But since then, because people can now buy and they're recognising that food bank poverty is massive, the donations have increased. But we are just about keeping on top of it with the extra top up now and again. But we are treading a very fine balance as to whether we are able to help everybody or help enough. When people come, when we've seen, pre-COVID it was easier when we saw lots of people. But we don't see so many, but now and again we'll have a phone call and we'll help a family. And because we try and give them a lot, because they obviously are in desperate straits, they are overwhelmed, they're tearful, they're grateful, they just say, but you're just helping so much. We do occasional electricity or gas top-ups on top of that, especially at this time of year when the weather is so difficult. And again, do you buy food or do you buy electric? Or do you buy presents for the children? So they are just, people are incredibly grateful and really blessed with the help. And we feel blessed that we're helping them because people are blessing us with their giving. And that is phenomenal too. We're just really sad that this is the state of things, but it's not just us, it's not just Guildford, it's nationally, it's globally, and we have to be there for each other.